Welcome to Enlightenment Unknown, Life of a Spiritual Nomad. Join Reiki Master and Quantum Healing expert Wes Coons as he guides listeners through the depths of self-discovery and spiritual enlightenment to uncover the version of you we haven't met yet.
Welcome to Enlightenment Unknown, Life of a Spiritual Nomad. My name is Wes Coons, and welcome back to the show. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming this week. We have a special guest, my very, very good friend, Beth. Say hi, Beth.
Hi, everybody.
How are you?
I'm awesome. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, it's fun. Well, you're supposed to have been here a few weeks ago, but we had the blizzard of 2025.
Right.
For our friends in Moscow, that's like we actually got 10 inches of snow, but if we get 2 inches of snow, we're closed down for 3 to 5 days.
Well, we got a lot more than 2 this time.
So thanks for coming on the show. How are you today?
I'm good. I just want to shout out to your friends in Moscow. Здравствуйте, как дела?
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but it sounds beautiful, so thank you. Beth, we've got really cool listeners, and we just picked up Indonesia and France. France has listened to 77 episodes in the last 2 weeks.
That's great.
Yeah, so thank you, and we appreciate that. We don't take that lightly, so that's really, really nice. Thank you. Now that all the snow's gone, it's like, what? It's going to be 60, 70 degrees a day?
Oh, it's different every day.
Well, one thing about Virginia Beach, if you don't like the weather, give it 15 minutes and it'll be something different.
Exactly.
So are you going down to the beach to the marathon this weekend?
No, I'm actually leaving town for the weekend.
Oh, that's right. You said that. Where are you going?
Yeah, just up to the mountains. Gonna go do some hiking, maybe hit a vineyard.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Just get away, get some fresher air.
Mm-hmm.
They basically run through my neighborhood, so it's like descending of many thousands of people.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be 25,000 people in the ocean front.
Yeah.
In over 2 days, something like that.
Yeah. It's fun, but we had planned on going away, so yes, escaping.
Going doing hippie stuff, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So what do you do? Tell us what you do.
I have the privilege of helping people that are stuck in a stress loop to heal their mind and body so that they can regulate their nervous system and get to a place where they can uncover those stories that are getting in their way, those stories and patterns, so they can co-create their life with success and health the way they want it to look and that they're destined for.
Nice. So are you going in and reprogramming thoughts?
Well, I'm not doing anything. Well, I am guiding them through. So using some modalities like neurosculpting and NLP or neuro-linguistic programming, which are just fancy words basically for helping uncover those beliefs and stories and patterns that get logged into our subconscious. Usually by the time we're 7 years old, those patterns are developed, and they even begin patterning in when we're in the 3rd trimester in our mama's belly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we operate from those beliefs when we don't become aware of them and actively change them, which most of us don't until they're getting in the way in life. It's something that's keeping you stuck in a certain way, keeping you playing small, keeping you repeating patterns that you don't want to be in, whether that's relationship-wise, which was my pattern that I finally had enough of and was like, I got to do something about this. And that's how I discovered neurosculpting. So, yeah, we go in, we talk a little bit, but it's mainly about, it's kind of like light hypnosis, all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So you're going in, allowing your subconscious to bubble up what it's ready to heal. And we do a technique called quantum time technique, where we go back in your timeline to find the root cause of where that pattern or where that belief started when you decided to believe that belief that's holding you back.
Sure.
When that story happened, that you formed that belief, whether it's, I'm not good enough, or I'm too much, I'm not worthy, fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of not belonging, of being kicked out of the tribe. We are, as humans, built for connection, but we have a lot of fears that we're going to lose that. And so we have adaptive behaviors keeping us in certain patterns, even if they're not serving our highest interest. So that's what doing the subconscious reprogramming does. It allows those things to bubble up so that you can go in and release that tie. Whenever we have an experience that causes a thought, and we tie that up with a physiological response in our body, and we have a feeling, we give it an emotion, we give it a story, we make meaning out of it. That's what our brain wants to do. It's a meaning-making machine. And it's like we're downloading software into our brain. When that happens, that belief, that pattern informs our behaviors, our thoughts moving forward, because that's what we have on the inside. And what we believe impacts what we do and how we do it.
Absolutely. Well, I seen a meme or something the other day, and it was a picture of a woman with a cage over her head. And it said, let yourself out of the cage that you placed on yourself.
Exactly.
And sometimes we place it there, sometimes other people place it there. And I used to think about whatever that trauma was when I was a little boy or as a younger person. And I would say, oh, that broken version of me. And I don't say that anymore, because the reality is that version of me loves me so much that it's held the energy of that trauma for me to come back in time, love myself, connect with that little person, and reintegrate myself, bring those two people back together, and then move forward. So instead of being in the victim energy of that broken little boy, I look at it as, I loved myself so much, I held that time and space for me to come back and heal so I can grow.
And that's beautiful. And that's what our subconscious does. It wants to keep its primary job is to keep us alive. And it wants to keep us safe. And it's a part of ourselves. When something traumatic happens, even if it's a little trauma, like a kid steals your crayons when you're 5 years old, that can feel traumatic.
Oh, yeah.
And we fraction that part of us off, shove it down into our subconscious, and if it doesn't feel good and we don't have a caretaker in our lives to help us work through it and resolve it at the time, we shove it down because we don't like the way that feels, but it's still there. And no amount of making our lives amazing, like accomplishing all the external goals of the house, the car, the job, vacations, relationships, no amount of making our lives good takes away that piece of us that is still wounded. So you going back and giving yourself that space and holding it is beautiful. And that's what we need to do in order to let the energy of that emotion that we're actively holding down, in order to let that go so that we can use that energy to move forward and accomplish the things that are moving us in the direction that we want to be going in and doing the things that we dream about and want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been so unhealed most of my life that when I found the path finally, I chase it because I want to be a better version every 10 or 15 minutes, right? That's my drug of choice is self-healing. And this guy was talking about how lucky we are to be able to die. And what he meant is there's billions and billions of souls. When a man and woman come together, only one seed gets connected and all the others go away, right? So all those billions of souls didn't get to come here. So the reality is we're super lucky, we're super blessed because we get to be born, we get to die, we get to have our heart broken, we get to get sick, we get to be happy, we get to do all these things.
Right.
Because there's these other souls that wanted to be here, but are not.
I love that. And I was just thinking about something along those lines this week, that even though life's going to life at us and we face challenges as humans, we made a contract with God to be here. We chose to be here. And yes, while there are hardships and struggles and pains, and sometimes those pains hurt, but we get to experience that. And when we're not here in human form, we are pure light beings without a human form. We don't get to feel that physical touch. And even though being able to feel that physical touch means we're also going to feel physical pain, emotional pain, you're right. Like, what an amazing blessing. Like, I want to enjoy everything, every bit of it.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's so many beautiful things to experience. It's funny. I was told one day that our feelings are lies. I feel sad. I feel disconnected. I feel unworthy. I feel whatever. That feeling is based off of a past trauma, and that trauma manipulated or changed the way you see yourself or put a box over you. So that's a lie, right? If I sat here and said, I feel unsafe, well, we're in my house in Virginia Beach. There's no reason to feel unsafe. It's not real. That is that unhealed version of us that's saying that we're unsafe. So as we heal that, as we go through those things, it's just interesting. I guess the point I'm trying to say is you can change the way you feel in a moment or a few seconds if you start learning how to do it, right?
Yes. And am I allowed to disagree with you?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to strongly disagree with our feelings lie.
Mm-hmm.
I believe our feelings are what tell us the truth.
Uh-huh.
When we have a feeling, that's what we need to listen to.
Sure.
That's what's going on in our body.
Mm-hmm.
And our body's trying to communicate, pay attention. What I would contend is that our thoughts are lies.
Okay, I agree with that.
Our thoughts are from our mind, and our mind's always wrong because
Sure.
our mind comes from our ego.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's the thought around the feeling that you can say is not true. And we get to choose. We get to choose how we feel. But when we have a feeling, to me, like, that's a red flag or maybe a pink flag.
Mm-hmm.
Or a green flag of
Sure.
like, this feels good. Like, you feel expansive. Like, that's truth.
Mm-hmm.
Or when you feel contracted, when you feel like a lump in your throat, heaviness in your chest, like a bowling ball in your gut, listen to that. That's truth. It's the story that our mind makes up around it that is
Sure.
often not true.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you definitely explained it better. See, that's why I have you on the show. You're so much smarter than me.
I don't know about that.
A moment ago, you said something about as a child, somebody steals your crowns, how that creates a trauma. I did some work with Megan, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. Megan Blacksmith, right?
Right.
Yeah, Megan Blacksmith. And it was interesting that this memory came up when I was on a school bus. I was probably 6, maybe 7. I had taken a little Army vehicle to school with me, and the boys on the bus wanted to see it, and they stole it from me. So when I pulled up to my stop, my dad was in the front yard. We're getting ready to leave to go camping. Obviously, the bus driver was there. And I didn't feel worthy enough. I didn't know how to say to the bus driver, hey, they took my toy. So something so small, which on a scale of things, I mean, I remember it, but I don't feel like it traumatized me. But that came up. So what I ended up doing is walking up to the bus driver and asking for help and then getting the toy back. And I remember that little version of me when I was walking off the bus. That's the first time I ever thought, hey, I want to do sports. I want to go to college. I want to do these things, because I never did those things. I mean, later in life, I went to culinary school just for fun, but that day imprinted in me that I was unworthy and I can't have things and I can't ask for help. And it was so tiny. But once we healed that, so many things opened up for me immediately. It was trippy.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be this huge trauma.
Exactly. And I believe like that's what your soul came here to learn. I think that's a key thing that most of us come here to learn, is how to feel worthy.
Yes.
Interestingly, I had a 6-year-old memory come up recently too, because I was trying to figure out along the same lines, like why sometimes I struggle with, am I worthy of living this life, of doing these things that I want to do? And it took me back to when I was 6, and I was like, all right, what was going on then? My little sister was born. And I'm the middle child. My dad's mom also passed away that year. And I realized that was the year I decided I had to take care of my dad's feelings and comfort him. I had to be mama's little helper and take care of my little sister and take care of the house. And my needs didn't matter. It didn't matter that I wanted to go outside and climb trees and play with my friends, because I had things to do. And my grandma Rose had been the one that would play with me. She's the one that I would color with. Speaking of crayons, like I had my favorite colors. We would color in Snow White. I would dance for her to Patsy Cline.
Nice.
She was my playmate.
I love that. Yeah.
I mean, those are my best memories. And when she left this earth, and then my sister was born, who I love dearly. But yeah, I mean, like life shifted for me then, and that's when I made the decision that everyone else's needs are more important than mine. I have to take care of everyone else. And that played out until I was 45 years old.
Oh, yeah.
When I became aware of that's the belief that I've been living by since then.
Well, that's the key, becoming aware, taking responsibility, looking at your life. I mean, that's what I do. I look at every aspect of my life, even the interaction we're having today. I'm going to go back later and look at the conversations that we had, look at all the different things, because I could have easily said, oh, I don't agree with you or whatever like that. But the reality is you explained it better. And so being humble and being open-hearted and being willing to listen to somebody else and being willing to say, maybe I'm not right.
Yeah. And I mean, that's another thing that a lot of people, including myself, like, we want to hold tight to our beliefs too. And that's our ego running the show. Because like really, most beliefs are not true. Unless it's a universal truth, it's just what we're holding on to that's keeping us safe at the time.
Sure.
But most beliefs are not true.
Well, if you think about that 6-year-old version of you or whatever age you are and something happens, you're making a decision and you have a memory based off of a 6-year-old's thought process, education, a child's mind. And it's not, and as you fast forward, that child's mind very well could be seeing things that aren't correct. Absolutely.
And that's the energy that we carry forward into our adulthood.
Absolutely.
So we're really like little 6-year-olds walking around in 40-something-year-old bodies, but operating from that 6-year-old mentality until we become aware.
Sure.
And see those patterns of, look at all these decisions this 6-year-old is making. Why do I keep getting into these patterns of these relationships that become toxic? And I believe that everyone comes into our lives for us to learn, to mirror back to us like the things that we need to change in ourselves and to give us experiences that we can learn from so that we can elevate and get closer to who we truly are, so that we can peel back those layers. And those are some of the things that are not fun to deal with, to go through. And yet they get us to where we are today. Every person that's been in my life has helped me become who I am today.
Mm-hmm. Well, you helped me understand something a little differently. I don't know, maybe 3 weeks to a month ago. We were talking about something, and I said, you're here to become the version you're supposed to be. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And what did you say?
Who you should be.
Yeah.
I said, stop shooting on people. that it's not about should or shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's about who we're destined to be, who we're created to be. We are all a drop of God. We're all connected.
Mm-hmm.
We're an expression of God. And we get to express that and change that along the way as we become more aware, as we clear more and heal more. And we're not broken. We don't need to be fixed. We're just becoming more aware of all the layers of things.
Mm-hmm.
We're just dysregulated.
Yeah. The way I was saying it after we talked was the way you should be leaves a victim energy to that, right?
Yes.
And versus either who you came here to be or you're destined to be or whatever shifts the energy. That broken little boy has got victim energy, or that little boy loved you so much that he held the energy of that day for you to come back and heal it. It's looking at life differently.
Yeah. When we should, that's kind of invoking shame.
Yes.
And we want to let shame go.
Absolutely. I was talking to a friend of mine this week, and she's got some stuff going on. We all have things going on. And she said, I should have done X. And I'm like, maybe you weren't supposed to do that day. And then she went down this rabbit hole of guilt and shame. And I told her, I said, stop. You made a decision not to go, let's say go to the store. I'm not going to air her stuff, but let's say the decision was not to go to the store. So just accept that you didn't go to the store and leave the guilt and shame out of it. You made a decision.
Yeah.
It's okay. Who cares? That decision didn't need to be made that day. But the problem wasn't the decision. The problem was she put all this guilt and shame on what she did. And it was no big deal.
Yes. And that's our mind talking.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say, like, what we think is often not true.
Yeah, absolutely. You're taking quantum classes right now.
I am.
You are very good. Hey, Margaret, she's in Egypt. She's listening to the show. And I've got an episode of Margaret that I've had challenges editing. So I think I've figured that out. So Margaret's going to be back on the show soon.
Sweet.
And she is sitting in beautiful Egypt right now. That sounds, when she talks about that place, it's pretty cool. I've never been.
I haven't either. And I was just thinking about Egypt this morning, and I think I saw that she does retreats there.
She does.
Oh, I would love to go do that.
I think she's got one coming up this year. So if you're listening to the show, if you want to be connected to Margaret for a retreat, you let me know. You can find me on VB Healer on Instagram or vbhealer.com. That's Virginia Beach Healer, and we will connect you to anybody that's been on the show, answer all of your questions. But Margaret is so gifted. I don't know what she does half the time.
She is a special being for sure. Yes, I'm so happy that I met you and that you told me about her, and I just felt the nudge to reach out to her, and it just was so easy. It just flowed, and it's changed my life. Literally, it's amazing. I get goosebumps.
And you're good at it.
I appreciate that.
So you did a healing session on me the other day, and I was sitting there on the table. I'm like, there were some things you were doing that I didn't know what you're doing, and I've done quantum work for a long time, right? And I was like, that's kind of cool. So what is it? You were doing something, and Margaret does it, and I hear you exhale and you blow out. What are you doing with that? Remember?
Moving the energy.
Yeah. So when you do that, literally, it's like I have piles of sand on my chakras and you're blowing it off the chakras.
Exactly.
I can feel it. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. You use your breath to move the energy. Inhaling and exhaling.
That's cool.
So it's not me doing the healing. It's God and angels and light beings.
Yes.
Doing the healing. I'm just helping move it.
Yeah. We've been doing some group healings together. That's been fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. People are loving those.
They are. It's powerful.
It really is.
It's powerful. So this last one, we both were doing quantum work on the folks at the same time. I've not done a double quantum healing like that.
Okay.
So the energy was really cool. And I don't know, I had fun. So thank you for inviting me into your facility and your life. I've really enjoyed my friendship with you.
Me too.
It's been fun. One of the things I've decided to do, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago was actually get out of Wes's comfort zone, stop being a hermit, right? Those are some of the limiting beliefs that I was healing, and go out in the community and meet other practitioners and make friends. And so this has been a special relationship. I really, it's been fun. It's
That's
cool.
awesome. And I just want to say, people can attend those classes remotely too.
Yes, they can.
So if you're interested in attending, look out for the next one because you can join us via Zoom. And it's like you're right there in the room with us. We had some people join us via Zoom at the last one, and it's like they were right there with us.
Absolutely. So if somebody wanted to get up with you, how do they connect with Beth Rose? How do they find you? How do they work with you? How does that work?
Yeah. So the name of my company is Tranquil Flame Neurosculpting and Bodyworks, and you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram at Tranquil Flame. I'm on LinkedIn. I think that's all the places you can email me. So you can find me in any of those places. I've got a link where you can schedule a free 30-minute call with me, and we can just chat and figure out what's going on with you. Where do you want to go? See if maybe we're a good fit to work together. And I also have some free resources. You can download a free 12-minute neurosculpting meditation from the website or from Instagram. And I'm working on another free download that will be coming out probably next week.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things I haven't done with my healing business is grown it with intention. The people just show up. The technology, the tools, the back-end systems that you have in place, I'm starting to work through now. And it's interesting. So just trying to do things a little bit differently because at the end of the day, we're doing God's work. And
absolutely,
I want to connect with more people.
Exactly. I mean, that's the whole goal because there are a lot of people in our local community that need help. But there are, 8 billion people on the planet?
Yeah, that's a lot.
So since we have the technology and since the energy we're working with isn't bound by time or space, we can work with people anywhere in the world.
Absolutely.
Which is such a beautiful thing. So while I don't love technology, and I'll be honest, it's a struggle using all those platforms and things, and I don't love it. I love the work. But as you said, it's a way to reach the people that are ready to do the healing.
Absolutely. Well, I always say, if I remember, I try to, what does unconditional love look like before I work on this program, before I go on this show, before I drive to work? And if you haven't done it, try it with your technology, but try it with your other things in your life. And the universe, God will open that door and say, okay, because we're in dominion and God will grant us what we're asking for. So try that with your technology. I find the doors open up really easily with my technology at that point.
I love that. Thank you for that hot tip.
Yeah. See, I actually taught Beth Rose something today.
Unconditional love for my technology.
Yeah, it's fun. What's today's date? We're in March, right?
March 13th, I believe.
Yeah. So spring's here.
Not yet. The 20th.
Is that the actual day?
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like spring out.
I just got to find some unconditional love for my taxes before I can welcome spring.
Well, yeah, trust me, tax season will be fun. Well, do you know Brian Egan?
I do. Yeah, he does sound bowl journeys at my studio.
Oh, that's right. He does. I love Brian Egan. And one of my favorite things is if you're in this market or want to come in, he does the sound bowl healings on the beach.
Yeah, he did that for one of my retreats.
Oh, did he?
Here
That's
in Virginia
cool.
Beach. Yeah, it was
That's
awesome.
cool. Yeah, he does this thing with his voice. If you've ever listened to the watch the show Vikings, when the Vikings they sing this song, this earthy sound with his voice. It sounds like Vikings are coming over the hill, and this guy that's my favorite part of the summer is going down and laying on the beach and just chilling out and listening to him do an hour-long sound bowl healing is really, really cool.
Yeah, with the waves in the background. It's magical.
Yeah. So when you're laying there, you can look up and see the alien spaceships moving around. So that's another story.
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever seen them?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Do yourself a favor, go to the beach, and sit there and look at the brightest stars.
Right.
And probably about 60% of the time, you'll start to see them move across the sky.
Yeah. Those aren't shooting stars.
No. We've not really talked about aliens on the show before, but we were at Brian's sound bowl healing one night, and I don't know what was going on up there, but it was so obvious that those were spaceships up there. I mean, when it was over, I said something to my friend next to me, and I guess somebody overheard that. There was 27 people there, and everybody said they seen the same thing.
Wow.
I mean, so you think about you're looking at something that looks like a star, and when you're looking in the sky and it moves across from one point to the other about 6 or 7 feet in about 30 seconds and then stops. So it looks like 6 or 7 feet in the sky. There's got to be hundreds and if not thousands of miles. If you're thinking about the distance where it's moving.
Right.
So there was multiple things moving in the sky that looked like stars, and a lot of them were changing directions.
That's wild.
It was trippy.
It'd have to be a nice clear night, too, to see that.
Yeah, so go down and lay at the beach and look up.
I will definitely do that.
Yeah, the fun, weird things we talk about.
I love it.
So, Beth, I appreciate you. I appreciate our friendship. Thanks for coming on the show. And everybody, Margaret's going to be back on. Lakota's coming in town to do sweat lodges and stuff in April. And do you have anything fun coming up this summer that you want to talk about?
Well, I do. I also do a 10-week program called Burnout Brain Rewiring. I offer that 3 times a year, and I've got another session of that starting up May 5th.
Nice.
So if anyone's interested in that, it's 10 weeks by design because the science shows that it takes 63 days to truly rewire a neural pathway. And I want to see people through that whole process. So if you're interested in doing some work that's truly going to help you uncover those patterns and stories, this is a great, fun way to do it. And I give you tools to use that make it sustainable. So while it's a lifelong journey, we uncover a lot of deep stuff that is going to create a shift in you, that's going to set you up to be able to handle anything that comes your way with confidence, with curiosity. And if you want to read about testimonies from people who have done it, you can take a look on my website. So yeah, I've got that coming up.
Nice. Can people do that remote or they have to be? Okay. So
absolutely. It's a hybrid. So part of it is online modules, short videos. They're not longer than like 15, 20 minutes. Some worksheets to work on your own. And then we have a group coaching call on Zoom. So you can Zoom in from anywhere. I had one last night and it's recorded if you can't make it live. And then we also have a Facebook group for people to interact with each other. And everybody gets 3 personal one-on-one sessions that we can also do via Zoom. So you can be in Australia or Indonesia. You can be anywhere in the world.
Moscow.
Ja говорю по-русски и je parle un peu français. So if you are in France or Moscow or French speaking, Russian speaking, we can still do that work.
Nice. No, we just picked up France, and I think they, what was it, 77 episodes in the last couple weeks. That's cool.
Love it.
Yeah. So they might not be aware, but just so you know, once you come on the show, if we travel abroad, we get to stay at their house.
I might have a friend in Russia.
Nice. Well, I love my Russian friends. I take dancing lessons.
Awesome.
And,
Are you doing the little kick thing where you're down on your knees kicking?
No, I'm not doing that. No. We did. Well, I was in the Virginia Beach Dancing with the Stars 2 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
I may be in it this year, but my friend Zhenya, he is a world-class dancer from Russia. And yeah, they're just wonderful people. They're good friends to me.
I love the Russian culture.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yeah. Well, everybody, thanks for listening to the show, and we will see you next week. Thanks, Beth.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Enlightenment Unknown with Wes Coons, your guide on the quest for self-discovery and the version of you we haven't met yet.